Well, this video today, of course, you see the thumbnail. All 9 episodes of The Last of Us are now available for you guys to stream right now on HBO Max. So, what do you want to talk about? This is, of course, a highly anticipated television series based off of the popular video game series brought to you by Naughty Dog. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey starring in this as Joel and Ellie. This is just a video game adaptation's dream come true, isn't it? If you're a fan of the video games, you should know that the series follows Joel, played by Pedro Pascal. Joel is a smuggler tasked with escorting 14-year-old Ellie, played by Bella Ramsey, who is a pun-loaded smart aleck across a post-apocalyptic United States. A global pandemic has ravaged the world. Stores are shut down. There's only a few select immune people walking the planet. And those who aren't immune eventually turn into undead, zombified killers. In case you're wondering, yeah, I did play the first Last of Us game during the pandemic, and I thought it was a riveting story. I absolutely loved the gameplay in there. Didn't get a chance to play The Last of Us Part 2, which is of course critically acclaimed, but I digress. When I heard that they were making a series on this, again, like with any video game property that's being turned into a movie or a television series, I always walk into it with the most cautious mindset. Sure, there's been some video game properties recently that have knocked it out of the park, like both Sonic movies. I've really enjoyed those. Even movies that have come out over the last couple of years, like Uncharted and Mortal Kombat, I've had fun with both of those. So clearly video game adaptations are starting to turn a new leaf. But I'm just hoping that we have gone past the days of the Assassin's Creeds of the world. I am hoping that we have gone past the days of Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Well, guys, I think it's safe to say that piece of video game properties that are television series or movies, I think those days are long gone now. Because simply put, The Last of Us is the pinnacle of video game adaptations into the entertainment medium, and it's not even close. Neil Druckmann, who is the developer on the video game, was one of this series' creators. He actually helms this alongside Craig Mazin, who some of you might know from Chernobyl, and I think this is just a match made in heaven. Because Craig Mazin has proven what he can do with the television series and making it widely successful. Neil Druckmann's involvement, I think, is the ultimate stamp of approval. And if he is going to take any part in this, you know that this series is going to be done absolutely spot on, perfect, without any sort of flaws or diversions away from the game. Not to say that the TV series doesn't have diversions, because I feel like there's enough about The Last of Us that really makes it stand out on its own aside from the game. They cleverly give some backstory to some non-player characters, like Nick Offerman's character in here. Great episode that he has, episode 3. That is a top-tier episode in my opinion. But even putting the diversions from the game aside and the extra developments that you get here, the attention to detail on this television show is staggering. Just in some of the framing and the camera work, looks exactly like the video game. Like, if you did a side-by-side comparison, my dad was hooked into this show, and he immediately wanted to go into research The Last of Us to see what it was all about. And he was just blown away by how pinpoint accurate a lot of the cinematography was in the television show. Made it look exactly like the video game, just in real life. From a technical standpoint, The Last of Us is pretty much pitch perfect. The makeup on these creatures is absolutely breathtaking. Absolutely just disgusting and vile. If you had never seen a zombie before in your life, you've never seen a zombie design like this, first of all. But then when you see any one of them pop into the frame, their appearance just takes you like, ugh, oh my god. Like, I wanted these characters to kill those things right away just because of how bizarre they looked. And from a set dressing standpoint, the things that they were able to achieve, it's like, anytime I sit here and I watch a piece of entertainment, anytime I can sit there and be like, how in the did they do that? Like in one of the earlier episodes, much like in the video game, they come across an abandoned hotel which has been ravaged by flooding. Pedro Pascal as Joel is walking around in this disgusting looking water. Just masterful set design all around. I also really love the mall that they were able to recreate for episode 7. A very ominous feeling of nobody being there whatsoever, but also just a sense of comfort in the fact that you can be home for a little bit. Technically speaking, guys, I could not say enough good things about The Last of Us. Down from the set design, the cinematography, the music by Gustavo Santaolalla. It's just like, every single thing about The Last of Us show, they got absolutely down pat. Which brings me to the casting of our 2 leads. They really had to get this right. And considering Pedro Pascal's schedule over this past year, what with The Mandalorian, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, among other projects, his schedule should not have lined up. This man is undoubtedly a workhorse. Seeing him as Joel and what he brings to Joel, again, makes him stand out from the video game, because if you look at Joel in the video game, it's insane how invincible he is. There are certain tasks and missions in the video game where you'll have to get this invincible superhuman strength in Joel to get it done. Seeing as how this is live action, they decided to take a very different route with Joel. He's got a limp to him. He's got some health stuff going on. And that just makes him so much more gritty and so much more like a badass just looking to kick out of it. Again, building off of the skills that he was developing in The Mandalorian, he is able to get so much across with this character with minimal dialogue and minimal eye movements. Yet you can still tell that so much is going on in this character's head. And clearly, you guys remember the pilot? Gut-wrenching. And I loved seeing the friendship that Joel develops with Ellie in this series. Now, I've sung my praises about Pedro Pascal until the cows came home. But Bella Ramsey in this series as Ellie, honestly, I think she's my favorite character the more I think about her. She's got so much wisdom beyond her years. She is certainly well aware of the situation she's in. But anytime she's introduced to something new, like this abandoned shopping mall by her best friend Riley, played by Storm Reed, she still has that innocent wonder about it, where it's like, wow, these things exist and I never even got to enjoy them. And also just the fact that this is the crummiest situation that these characters could ever find themselves in. A global pandemic pretty much wiping the earth into a desolate landscape. And the fact that Ellie is still able to crack a smile and tell some puns to Joel out of her little book that she got from her friend, annoying Joel to no end. This is a great dynamic. These two play off of each other so well. Again, I cannot praise enough the casting in here. They got everything so darn right. I gotta be honest, my friends. It is really, really hard to pinpoint any issues I have with The Last of Us. Can't really think of anything I wholeheartedly disliked about this series. This will certainly go down as one of the greatest video game adaptations of all time, if not the absolute greatest. The Last of Us is the benchmark now, guys. Anytime there's a new video game movie out there, looking at you, Mario Brothers, like, if it's not on the level of The Last of Us, it's like, why even bother? I mean, part of me gets why they bother, but at the same time, like, how are you going to make anything as good as this? Seeing as how this was renewed for a second season not too long ago, I think they're going to try and top themselves. Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann have something up their sleeve, certainly. I know a lot of people may complain that the finale was ended a bit abruptly. And yeah, it may have been a bit too short for my liking for a season finale, clocking in only around 45 minutes. But my God, I mean, just episode by episode. Honestly, it's really hard to pinpoint the best episode of the season. It's a competition between 6 of them, I think. Seeing as how there's 9 episodes this whole entire run, like, that's pretty unprecedented right there. In case you haven't guessed by this point, highly recommend you check out The Last of Us on HBO Max if you haven't yet. As far as video game adaptations go, they got everything just right. I'm gonna give The Last of Us an A+. All I'm asking is that you inject Season 2 into my veins as soon as humanly possible. But let me know what you thought of The Last of Us down in the comment section below. Have you guys played the games? Which installment is your favorite? Which episode of this series is your favorite? As always, guys, I love discussing all new topics in television and entertainment over here on The Regular. And if you guys enjoy discussing all these fun topics, this channel is the place to be. So do consider becoming a subscriber and tap on that bell so you don't miss another second of the action. And do me a favor and smash that like button as well. Only helps continue to grow this amazing community we've already built together. And as always, look out for more exciting content hitting this channel very, very soon. Looking forward to starting my Pirates of the Caribbean retro series to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Curse of the Black Pearl. I want to try and get at least some of those entries out before I go on vacation in a couple weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Look out for my reviews of Shazam 2 and John Wick 4 as well before I go away on my trip. Lots to look forward to and talk about over here, guys. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much again for tuning in. And with all that being said, back talk, commence.